What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to another CZN or Chaos Zero Nightmare video. And today we are going to be talking all about the partners in this game. So partners in this game, they aren't actually characters. I know at first glance they might seem like playable characters. Like if you look at this banner, these just straight up look like characters out of like Genshin. And if you actually look at the designs, some of them look better than some of the combatants in the game. But partners in this game are going to be your artifacts if you're from Epic 7, your shells from Asteria, your weapons from any Hoyo game, or even like your light cones and stuff like that. And these are going to be very, very important to use on your characters. They will all have a different effect. If we click one here, you'll see that they have an additional effect for certain classes, and they will all also have their specific ego skill, which will be unique to them, and just makes it so that choosing the right one can really change how strong your character or your team are. So we're going to talk not about the 5 stars though. You can see I don't own any of them on this account, and most people are not going to really get one for a while unless you get really lucky, because for the most part in the early game you are going to be focusing on combatants. And the reason why is because you will have to field multiple combatants for later stages in multiple teams. So focusing on the units is just way more efficient. So today I'm just going to be talking about some good 4-star choices that you can use for a while, because a lot of the 4-star partners are very good. And you'll find that once you start getting dupes of the 4 stars, they'll start outscaling some of the 1 dupe 5-star partners for a bit. So because of that, not going to really talk about the 5 stars at all today, mostly the early game, mid game, free to play options. I will say though, a lot of people have been asking about Asteria's banner. This is the partner alongside Haru, and this is going to be the best partner for Haru. So if you did reroll for Haru and got her early, or you just want to go for this banner anyways because you're a whale, then you can go for it. It's a really good partner for Haru. The reason why is because for strikers, you're going to see that for cards that have a cost of 2 or more, you do extra damage. And her ego skill is that when you use it, the next attack card that you use by the holder will do extra damage based off the cards on your hands. So Haru is really good because she gets a lot of cards, and also if you pair her with things that can draw and buffers, she becomes extremely powerful with this partner. So this is really good for her. I've seen some people ask me if they can use it on Kayron, because Kayron is another DPS in this game that's a 5-star that some people re-roll for, that also really has high costs. If you look at his cards, you're going to see that he has, these 2 and 3 cost cards, which are like his huge nukes that kind of like one-shot bosses. However, you have to realize partners are going to be class specific with their bonus effect. He's a psionic, so he actually doesn't get that bonus effect from Asteria. So please do not pull for this and try to use it on your Kayron. I've seen some people ask me why it feels like it's doing nothing. Well, it's because you're not getting that additional effect. So yeah, but let's get to the main point of the video. Which of the 4-star or lower cost partners are good to use? There are going to be a select few 4 stars that are really good, and there's going to even be some 3 stars that are solid options. The first one I want to talk about today though is going to be Arwen. This is, in my opinion, the best partner that you should be using in the early game on your healers. The reason why is because it gives you an HP boost, which is basically just a passive stat stick, which is going to be on pretty much every single partner in the game. But you also get this healing increase, which is going to be very strong. But on top of that, the passive effect that you get when you put it on controllers is going to be absolutely absurd. You're going to see that you gain this buff equal to the number of enemies that are planning to attack you that turn, every single turn. And this buff will stack up to 3 times. So if 3 enemies are about to attack you, you're going to get 10% damage reduction times 3 up to 30%. Super powerful. This is going to keep you alive in a lot of scary situations when, a lot of monsters are hitting you. Sometimes you're going to fight waves with like 5 monsters total because the boss spawns a lot. So this makes this extremely powerful on your healers because it will give you a healing boost, and also this passive effect is absolutely broken. You'll also see this ego skill for 3 points. Pretty expensive. It does give you a pretty large heal and also damage reduction, so very good ego skill in the case that you are dropping low in health. This makes this one of the best partners in the game for 4 stars because it's going to be really good on whatever healer you use. So you can just pretty much slot this on your Mika, or even something like your Nia, who's also going to be very good with it if you're running a Nia deck. So because of this, extremely powerful and pretty important to have built up. Another one that's going to be very good, which I don't have, which is very sad, is Rachel. This card is very good on Vanguards. You're going to see that you get extra shielding. Shielding is exceptionally strong in this game because it stops that really annoying stress trauma gain, which makes your characters go crazy and do nothing. And this is going to also give you a shield, or not a shield, give you a counterattack when you actually gain a shield. It is a chance though, so you have to keep that in mind, but you're going to see that this is going to be super strong, and when you're counterattacking, every time you take damage, you're going to be doing damage, and if the attack is blocked with that shield that you get from that increase on this passive, you're going to even do more damage. So very strong. You can counter multiple times a turn depending on how many times you get hit. So this is an extremely OP partner for the early game, which I wish I had. But you can also see the ego skill is very good because it gives you a shield. And like I said, shields are very good in this game. That's why you'll see the shield values are going to be lower than healing. But you also draw a card. Drawing a card for 2 ego points is very cheap. And on top of that, you're also getting the shield, which makes this extremely powerful. And the passive effect is absolutely crazy. So this is going to be very good on a lot of characters that you actually rerolled for, such as Calipe. It's going to be very good for her because she has a lot of shielding, and it'll also give her some counterattacking, which is very good. And even something like a Magna, which is what I have, and it's very broken on her, which is why I want her, because Magna already has this shielding and counterattacking, so you're basically giving her more, which is pretty crazy. And you'll also see, you know, if you stack her with enough shields and counterattacks, she can kind of just like solo stages. So very good on her as well. And you can also use it on the 2 4-star tanks or shielders, which is Amir, another Vanguard, who has defense scaling shields as well. She's kind of like the 4-star version of Calipe, but still very powerful. And also Maribel, who is very strong. I got kind of distracted by something, but she also is very strong and kind of counterattacks as well. She's like the 4-star version of Magna. So both of these characters, I guess both of those 4-star characters and both of those 5-star characters are very good with Rachel, and you're probably going to use one of those 4 in like most team comps because they have so much utility, so much shielding, and they do decent damage as well for a utility character. So Rachel's very good. Another really good one is right beside her, which I wish I had as well. It's going to be Lillian. This is going to be good on strikers that have a cost of 1 or less cards to do damage, and you're also going to see that when you use a skill card, you get extra damage as well. This is going to be very powerful on stuff like Rin, also very good on other strikers that have low costs, but mostly for Rin and like Mei Lin as well, because Rin has very low cost cards, as you'll see. She also has a decent amount of skill cards, 3 of them, which is very important. And even something like a Mei Lin as well will have 3 skill cards and a decent amount of low cost attacks as well. So very good for them. This is going to be the best option in the early game by a large margin. And you're also going to see this ego skill for 3 points. It's an AoE attack, and you draw an attack card with a cost of 1 or less. So this is a really strong one as well. And the reason why is because 1, you're getting an extra card to attack with, but 2, you're kind of making up for the weakness of both of those characters, right? If you look at Mei Lin as well as Rin, you're going to see that their AoE is pretty much non-existent, right? Even the ego skill doesn't really do anything for Mei Lin's AoE, and it's going to be the same thing for Rin. So because of that, it's a really good partner to have on those characters. There's going to be some 4-star options it's good on as well. If you're using something like a Owen, it's pretty decent as well, but for the most part, it's going to be mostly used for those low-cost strikers. That's going to be Rin and Mei Lin. So very good partner for them. Another one is going to be Ritochka. This partner is going to be the counterpart to Lillian. It's going to also be for strikers, but mostly for characters that actually have very expensive cards. So if you're actually using Haru and you don't want to pull for that partner banner because it's really expensive and you want to save your summons, which makes sense, not a bad option, then you can use this one. This will make your high cost cards do a ton of damage. And also you'll see that at the start of your turn, for just randomly one of your attack cards for every point of the total cost of your attack cards combined. Very confusing, but basically it adds up the cost of all your attack cards, and then it will choose one of them. It will get a bonus damage, if that makes sense. And also the ego skill, pretty good. You get 3 morale. Morale is going to be just extra damage. So you're getting just an extra damage buff from this ego skill, which is pretty decent, but not the most impactful thing, honestly, because you're not dumping everything into attack usually. You're usually using some shielding and healing as well. but still a pretty decent ego skill for only 2 points. Now, another one I want to talk about, now we're going to start breaking into the 3-star ones, is going to be Vaughn. So this one's also good for healers. If you guys don't have Arwen, you can actually use this one. The reason why is because you get a flat defense boost, which isn't really a big deal, but you also heal every single turn on top of the healing that you're already doing if the holder of this partner doesn't use an attack skill. So that's actually pretty easy to satisfy. You're going to see that a lot of the healers, for example, Nia is one of them, is going to be doing a lot of shuffling and stuff like that, drawing and healing. You can see she only has 1 attack card in her kit, which makes it very easy to utilize on her. Even something like a Mika here isn't going to really attack too much. The only time you really attack is with Whirlpool because it just ends up healing a lot as well. And even something like an Orlia, which is another very strong healer that people use, she does have access to more attacks, but for the most part you're going to be doing more card generation and stuff like that. So it's a very good free-to-play option, especially if you can't get yourself an Arwen early, and you can just use her because it just gives you bonus healing. Kind of the same as Arwen's built-in passive with the bonus healing. You're just missing out on that Ponopoko's cheer, which is honestly the biggest reason why Arwen's good, but at least it's something you can use. On top of that, you get a 2-cost ego skill, which will give you healing, and it will also give you Fortitude. Now, Fortitude's pretty good in this game because Fortitude just basically makes you take less damage, which is going to be pretty good. It's like damage reduction. The other one, which we didn't look at in this video at all, is Resolve, which increases your shield gain. So Fortitude is going to be a decent buff for you to help you take less damage. Now, the last one I want to talk about that's a good option is Yuri. So Yuri's effect isn't the best thing in the world. You're just getting attack, and upon the first shuffle, you're just getting extra damage. The big thing about her, though, is her ego skill. So you're using 3 points to draw 2 cards. And this is very good because card draw is going to be extremely powerful for characters that want to dump a lot of cards. So if you're using something, for example, like a Renoa, which really wants to draw a lot and just keep dumping cards, you can use it on her because she'll be able to just keep drawing, discarding and stuff like that, and just do a ton of damage. So because of that, it's a free-to-play option that you can use as well. Not as crazy as the other ones because you're mostly relying on an expensive ego skill, but still pretty powerful because you're getting some damage out of the passive effect. Now, the last one I want to talk about is another 4-star, but this is kind of an honorable mention for now. This one's really good, but you do have to wait till later on, is Akkad. This one is mostly for Renoa as well, just any hunter, that's using bullet cards. And it's going to be very good because it buffs your damage a lot. You can even see the ego skill will buff your crit rate for 1 turn. However, the thing is, half of the passive is buffing your critical damage, and buffing your critical rate only really matters if you can actually still crit. The thing is, in the early game, you're going to really struggle to hit high crit rate. You can see for my Rin, for example, I'm at 4.5%. Obviously, you can get better gear and just, make it higher, but raising it to the point where you can actually utilize that partner efficiently isn't really an option, so you don't really want to use it early on, but it's something you can use later on into the game once you start farming gear at like level 50-ish, I believe, 40 to 50. So because of that, just a good honorable mention. Now, the other partners I didn't mention, they can still be used, but for the most part, they're not going to be as widely used, I'd say, on the meta units. Even something like Carity is okay because you're going to see that for card generators, she's very good. It's actually going to be very good for Luke, if you guys have him, because he generates a lot of these bullet cards as well. Thing is, Luke isn't that great of a character, that's why I didn't really talk about it this video. But there's a lot of partners you can just, use onto your characters. You just want to read them and see what they benefit. And especially, you want to look at the class that they benefit because you don't want to put a partner on your character that doesn't benefit from it at all because you don't have the right class. But there's a lot of things you can mix and match. Just make sure you do have your partners linked up on your characters and decently upgraded because they give you a lot of damage and stats. But yeah, pretty much it for this video though, guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. And also let me know in the comments down below what team you're using to progress through the game so far.